It's me, Delia Smith. This is Ellis. Welcome back to the channel. Today is something a little bit different. I'm going to be showing you 5 vegan slow cooker recipes. We recently bought this slow cooker and it has been amazing. I didn't realise how good a slow cooker was. Oh, thanks. Until I had a small person in my life and cooking became a pain in the butt. So yeah, if you haven't got a slow cooker, I highly recommend you get one. Obviously if you haven't got kids, you can still use them. They're great to put on in the beginning of the day and you'll come home to a hot meal. It's great. Anyway, without further ado, here are 5 vegan slow cooker recipes. Enjoy. So you'll need a tablespoon of tomato puree. I have one with garlic in, that's not a necessity. And then also either 2 cloves of garlic, but for ease I just use a tablespoon of garlic puree because I can't be bothered to chop garlic. 1 cup of green lentils, make sure you rinse them off, it helps get rid of whatever it is that makes you gassy. 1 teaspoon of thyme, 1 teaspoon of crushed chilies, and some basil. I freeze fresh basil, it's just a lot easier for me, so I'm just going to shove this in there as well. Then I have an OXO cube here to make 3 cups of vegetable stock. Then you need 3 peppers, it doesn't matter the colour, 6 tomatoes, 1 medium onion or 2 small ones, 3 courgettes, a tin of chopped tomatoes, and a tablespoon of sugar. Then literally just chop everything up and shove it all in the slow cooker. This is the first time I've ever made ratatouille in the slow cooker and it did turn out really well. It was a little bit watery, so a tip I discovered after I'd finished making this recipe was actually you can cook the food an hour after it's finished with the lid off the slow cooker, and it actually does reduce the amount of liquid in there. Then you want to just give it all a big stir together, and then I put it in the slow cooker for 5 hours until everything had softened, and we served ours with a freshly baked baguette. Definitely be making this again, it was really easy and really tasty. 1 tablespoon of tomato puree and either 4 cloves of garlic, or again I just use 1 tablespoon of garlic puree and 1 stock cube to make 2 cups of vegetable stock. You also need 2 teaspoons of cinnamon, 1 teaspoon of turmeric and 3 teaspoons of coriander, and then again you can either use a teaspoon of ground ginger, but I just use a cube of frozen ginger because I find it easier. Then you need 2 tins of drained chickpeas and 1 tin of coconut milk. And the veg you need is 1 head of cauliflower, 2 medium carrots, but I've just got 4 small ones here, 2 tomatoes, 4 sweet potatoes, and I added 2 chilies, but obviously they're optional if you don't like spice. And again, you just cut everything up and bung it all into the slow cooker. There's no rhyme or reason to it because obviously it all just gets mixed together and cooks over a longer period of time. This was probably our favourite meal this week. I've never really had just a coconut curry, usually most of our curries are tomato based, so I was pleasantly surprised by this one. Then give it a good mix and then put it on low for 5 hours. We served ours with some pilau rice, some fresh spinach, and then I also put a dollop of plain soy yogurt with it as well, which was delicious. 1 tablespoon of tomato puree, 1 tablespoon of garlic puree, and 1 medium onion. 2 tins of chopped tomatoes, 2 bell peppers, it doesn't really matter the colour, 2 medium sweet potatoes, 1 courgette, this is optional if you don't really want a courgette in there, I just had it in the fridge, and 2 medium carrots, I have very small carrots, look at this one, and 2 celery sticks. An optional chilli or 2 if you fancy it, 1 stock cube to make 2 cups of stock, and 1 tin of kidney beans. And then you need 2 teaspoons of ground cumin, 1 teaspoon of smoked paprika, and 1 teaspoon of oregano. Usually when I make chilli I would use lentils or a meat substitute for the mince, but this vegetable chilli turned out really well. I was actually pleasantly surprised. I really hate peeling vegetables, and so usually I would never bother peeling carrots or white potatoes, but I feel like you have to peel sweet potatoes. So the fact that I had 2 meals this week with sweet potatoes in was annoying. I had to peel so many vegetables. Once you've put all your ingredients in the slow cooker, just give it a good stir and put it in the slow cooker for 5 hours. Easy. We had ours with some plain basmati rice, and we had an avocado lying around, so we thought it would be fancy and add that to it too. So you need 1 tablespoon of garlic puree, 1 small onion, 1 tablespoon of Italian herbs, but I didn't have any, so I just used 1 teaspoon of oregano and 1 teaspoon of coriander, and it worked out fine. And because I'm incredibly lazy, I just bought a vegan white sauce from Tesco's and also a red sauce as well. I know you can make your own, but I couldn't be bothered. Also just need some dried lasagna sheets. I'll also be using 1 cup of green lentils, make sure you rinse them, a punnet of mushrooms, is it a punnet? I'm not sure, 2 sticks of celery and a big handful of spinach. I don't really like pre-cooking things for a slow cooker, but for the lasagna you need to do that. So I started off by putting a little bit of oil in the pan and adding in the onion, garlic and celery and just mixing it together until it was soft. And then I added in the chopped mushrooms, the lentils and the herbs and just gave that a mix around as well. And then you want to add in your tomato sauce, and I'd also add in a cup of water as well at this point. And then leave that to cook for 20 minutes with the lid on the saucepan, and then once the lentils are soft, add in your spinach. And then somehow I forgot to film me making the lasagna in the slow cooker, but basically I just layered the lasagna in the order of lentil mixture first, then the pasta sheet and then the white sauce on top. Just repeated that until I ran out of all the ingredients and just made sure there was a layer of white sauce at the top. So after 4 hours of cooking, this is what the final result looked like. And we served ours with peas, my favourite. And there's Kiva in the background eyeing it up. So for this recipe, you need 1 tablespoon of garlic puree, 1 onion and 4 cups of vegetable stock, a tin of chopped tomatoes or 4 tomatoes, 2 sticks of celery, 2 tablespoons of cumin, 1 teaspoon of thyme, 1 teaspoon of oregano, 2 tablespoons of paprika, 2 tablespoons of cayenne pepper and 2 tablespoons of black pepper. You'll also need 1 tin of kidney beans, a cup and a half of brown rice, or any rice to be fair, a pack of your favourite vegan sausages, mine are Linda McCartney, and you'll also need some spring onions. For the first part of this recipe, you're going to just make a broth for the rice. So you need to put into your slow cooker an onion, garlic, stock, celery, tomatoes and all your spices and leave that to cook for 4 hours. So once that's been cooking for 4 hours, you're then going to add in your rice and your sausages. Mine took another 2 hours to cook, so it may be easier just to do the rice on the hob and the sausages in the oven and just mix it all in afterwards, because it did take a lot longer than I thought it was going to. And then add in your kidney beans and your spring onions for another 10 minutes or so at the end. Give it a stir and there we have it. Delicious! It was a bit of a faff to make. It was very tasty, and so I probably would make it again. So that's 5 slow cooker recipes for you. I hope that you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!